Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There were many ulama in this ummah that were hidden gems, who were great and knowledgeable people that were world renowned in their time, but yet are not so well known today amongst the masses. One of the ulama of this nature is Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi Rahimahullah. His full name was As-Sayyid Abul Fayd Muhammad ibn Muhammad ibn Muhammad ibn Abdul Razak al-Husayni, but he is better known as Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi Rahimahullah. He was born in the year 1145 after Hijrah in the town of Bilgram in Hardoi, UP, India. But his family had migrated there from Wasit in Iraq, and from India he later migrated to Zabeed in Yemen and settled there for a lengthy period of time until he became known as one of its inhabitants, hence the Zabeedi in his name. That is why many people are unaware that he was actually born in India and not Yemen. He was from a noble lineage, as can be guessed from his name, because he was from the offspring of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the way of Hazrat Hussein radiyallahu anhu. That is why he is known as a Husseini Sayyid. Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah was an alim of the Hanafi Madhab. He was a walking dictionary. He was a master in hadith and its associated sciences, such as knowing the genealogy and the histories of all the narrators of the hadith. Such was his knowledge in hadith that the ulama used to say that after the Hafiz, Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah and his students, there was no one that could compare with Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah in that field. And if you know the rank of Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah, then you can understand just what a high praise this is for anyone to be given. Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah began his studies under the ulama in India. And after his family moved to Yemen, he then started studying under the ulama there. After that, he traveled to the Hijaz and studied under the ulama of Makkah, Medina, and Ta'if, and then off to Egypt, where he eventually settled, and that was where he married and stayed until he passed away. Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah was a prolific author. He wrote more than 100 books and articles. His most famous book of all is his massive dictionary known as Taj al-Arus min Jawahir al-Qamus, which expounds upon the dictionary of the famous linguist Al-Fayruzabadi. And this shows the depth of his knowledge of the Arabic language. And here we're not talking about the type of child's play dictionaries that we are used to seeing, where if you were to open our dictionaries, you'd find, by way of example, the word qamus translated as a dictionary. But the reality is that this is more a figurative translation rather than a literal one. Now in Taj al-Arus, Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah would explain the essence of the word, where it comes from, and what the linguists had to say about it. So you would find qamus meaning the deepest abyss in the sea, which originates from the point of diving into the sea. And he'll explain it with all its associated meanings, as well as from an Islamic perspective. And yes, even the figurative explanation would be in there too. That like the ocean is so deep and vast that you can dive into it, so too is a dictionary in its vastness, and that is why a dictionary is referred to as a qamus. This monumental work of his took a total of 14 years, and it spans about 14 volumes. After completing this book, Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah invited the ulama and the students of Deen to a feast, including his own teachers such as Imam Abdurrahman al-Aidarus and all the senior ulama of the time, and he presented this work of his to them. And they all received it with the highest of praise because of how detailed and accurate it was, while being easily understandable at the same time. Apart from this dictionary, Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah is also well known for another book of his, known as Ithaf al-Sadat al-Muttaqeen, which is an explanation of the famous Ihya Ulum al-Din of Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah. Apart from these two works, he wrote many other books, the majority being on the topics of hadith, history, and genealogy. Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi rahimahullah was given the kunyah Abul Fayd, even though he had no children. He was married to his first wife for 14 years before she passed away, and he then married again, but he had no children from either wife. In Rabi'ul Awwal, in the year 1205 after Hijrah, A plague broke out in Egypt, claiming many lives, and it continued for a long time until in the month of Sha'ban, on a Friday after Jumu'ah, Imam Murtadhaa Az-Zabeedi Rahimahullah was returning from the masjid when he contracted the plague, and he lived for only 2 days thereafter, passing away on Sunday, the 6th of Sha'ban in the year 1205 after Hijrah. He had an average-sized janazah due to the fact that the plague was stronger than ever. So there were lots of people being buried, and each person having to take care of his sick family members and seeing to the burial of those of his family that had already passed away. And because it was a plague area, therefore people couldn't enter the town from elsewhere to attend the janazah. If that wasn't the case, then he would probably have had one of the biggest janazahs that Egypt has seen. But this is the way that Allah had decreed, and Allah is Alimul Hakim. May Allah accept all of his work and raise him with the shuhada in the highest levels of Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen, wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.